Mike Montempo, it's awesome to see you, man.
Likewise.
It has been a while. I've lost track of all like actual time tracking since COVID, but it's been a while anyway. I first met you eons ago when you were first starting in business and you were a client of Easy Pay Direct.
Yep.
And then I kind of just see you through the years at different events. But in the last couple of years, you have started to interact with a bunch of bigger clients with your agency. Can you give me a little backdrop on kind of, I don't know, tell me your business story. Where'd you start and how'd you get here?
I actually started, I'm a very big sports fan. Love baseball, went to college to go play baseball. But I used to send out cards to get autographed. And I'd send out like 3 or 4 cards to the stadiums and, I'd get them autographed. And I launched a site called mikesautographs.com. I'd sell the duplicates. I'd keep a couple for myself and I'd sell the duplicates on mikesautographs.com.
Hold on. So you'd buy like baseball cards and just send them to a stadium and ask for the players to sign them?
Yeah. So like you could send it to like one of my best successes, was Sandy Koufax's big time pitcher for the Dodgers. So like I send it to spring training. I knew he was a coach for the Dodgers and he signed the card for me. So like I would send it to just tons of people, celebrities, all of that. Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera.
Crazy.
Like, and you would probably have, 50, 60% success rate. And it was like kind of opening up presents every single day. Like I'd love for the mail. Like the mail would come and I'd have a bunch of autographs. It was an awesome, awesome hobby. And I launched a site, mikesautographs.com. I was like 16 years old. And I was like, hey, how do I sell more cards? Like I was always entrepreneurial. And that led me down the rabbit hole of like Facebook ads, SEO, Warrior Forum. And I went to college, dropped out my first semester, and then I really hit it big with fan pages and CPA offers. So I built all these fan pages to like a few million fans. I had 150 fan pages. And this was back when you could get penny likes. And if you made a post on your fan page, you would, everybody would see it. There was no algorithm changes. Like you made a post, it was in real time, cool. And
Hold on, let me set frame for this for a second, because now we're in a different era in 2022. Do fan pages still exist?
Yes, but I mean,
not the same thing.
Yeah, like you post to a fan page to 100,000 people, maybe a couple thousand are seeing it.
And that's why nobody knows what fan pages are right now.
Correct.
So like basically, fan pages were an iteration of Facebook's. How do we get this to be a business forward platform? Because originally Facebook was all just consumer. It was just users, right? Just people.
Yep.
So they were like, okay, well, how do public figures get on here? And they're like, oh, well, you can create a fan page.
Yep.
And initially, when you had a fan page, what you were getting at is that when you posted something, everybody that had subscribed as a fan would see it.
Yep.
And now if you have a business page, a fan page, they're throttling all the traffic. And it's like 1% maybe sees it. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, exactly. So
awesome.
Like I started like Steelers fans, Yankees fans, Lakers fans. So I would build all these themed pages. And then I started doing a lot of CPA offers like lead gen. There was an offer called Scholarship Zone that I promoted. And I mean, we were doing, anywhere from 800 to 1,000 leads a day, getting paid anywhere from $6 to $28 a lead. And from there, I made my first $1 million by the time I was 21. And I launched a course kind of teaching about it. Did that whole thing for a little bit. You obviously know the Facebook Vault and kind of the ups and downs I had there. And then I launched my agency in 2018, Client Accelerators, took my first client, and we've grown pretty quickly. Grew from no people on the team to we're at 42 people right now. Annual run rate of a little bit over 6 million. And right now, I believe it's like 62, 63 clients. So record growth, and it's been a fun ride.
Inc. 5000 this year?
Yeah, 217 on Inc. 5000.
Congrats, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. So what do you sell? What does the agency do? So
we run Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Google Ads. We script everything. We'll script the ad for the client, usually anywhere from like 5 to 10 scripts. They will shoot it. Our videographers put everything together. for the different platforms. Let's say it's on YouTube. We'll edit it for YouTube. We'll edit it for TikTok. We set up all of the tracking. We put together a whole launch plan over 14 days. We launch it, and based upon whatever the KPIs that they're shooting for, it might be, hey, I need leads for $10, I need book calls for $200, and I need new clients for $2,000. That's what we're shooting for. We meet with the client every single week to go over what's working. They have their own private Slack, and we have 24/7 access that we're talking to them. And yeah, man, we build their business with our media buying and creative abilities.
Cool.
So.
And what's the who's your target market for that? And what's the financial structure?
So info products, mainly high ticket coaches and consultants, mainly people selling anything from $5 to all the way up to $100,000 over the phone. And what was the next question?
What's your monetization model? So is it a flat fee? Do you take part of the lift? Is it an ad spend thing?
So right now we charge $10,000 a month, and then we take a percentage of profits. And that $10,000 a month encompasses whatever traffic source they want. When I jump on with a client, I pretty much tell them, hey, I believe out of the gate, we need to go Facebook, TikTok. We'll roll these out. We'll scale these up, and then we'll add YouTube. We'll add search. So it's kind of whatever we think is best for the client. And then we take, a percentage of profits over and above their baseline. So let's say they're doing $100,000 a month in profit right now off their ad spend. We take them to $200,000. We take a percentage of that profit.
Got it. And the $10,000 does not include ad spend.
No.
Got it. Yeah.
No, that's for us to do all the creatives,
of course,
do everything, all the tracking.
So one of the things that I have this conversation very often with people, but around agencies, and I have the belief, agency owners don't always like hearing this, but I have the belief that most marketing agencies are terrible. And if they were good, they would do one of two things. They would either inevitably launch their own offers, because that's where the money is, or they would take lift. They would take a percentage of the revenue that they generate for a company. Because if you're good, you can bank on, hey, only pay me when you grow, which is what you're doing.
Yep.
So I love seeing that, because it's very clear. Like, if you exist and you're growing as an agency, you can't bullshit that.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, if I'm performing, then we make money, and I'm 200s in the Inc. 5000. That is indicative of we're doing this right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's really important for entrepreneurs to see that or think about that from a marketing perspective. Like, the people you want to work with actually are probably the ones that are more expensive, that want the upside, because they're actually partners in the business.
Yep.
So you're working with high ticket offers and people selling information. Why is that the audience?
It's easier to get ROAS for them.
ROAS stands for return on ad spend. It refers to the amount of revenue that is earned for every dollar spent on a campaign.
We'll have people come to us all the time, and we'll do a forecast for them. And it's like, hey, I'm selling a $47 product. I have a $97 upsell, and I want to make $100,000 a month. Well, hey, listen, the cost per click is going to be $3. Based upon your front end conversion rate, you're probably going to be at, let's say, 3%. Even on a upsell take rate of 20%. Your CPA might be $100, $150. Your AOV might be $50 to $60. The economics don't work.
CPA stands for cost per acquisition. It refers to the fee a company will pay for an advertisement that results in a sale. And AOV stands for average order value. It tracks the average dollar amount spent each time a customer places an order on a website or mobile app.
If you don't have that high ticket on the back end, it's tough to make the economics work, especially with how expensive traffic is now.
Right.
Like, you can't. Even it used to be back in the day, you could run a $9.97 offer. Cool, you could get a CPA $500, $600 and it would work. It's too expensive. We run some offers, $9.97, $1,500, but they have the high ticket back end, and we're breaking even, or we're paying $2,000 to get a $1,500 customer. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you're not, as an agency, you're not going to have that client for very long if they don't have something else on the back end. So it's just picking the right clients and understanding the actual economics before we take them on. And that's the biggest thing that I look for. Hey, does this person actually have an economical model that makes it easy for us to run ads, because you're not going to be able to outmarket bad economics. And there's so many people, especially agencies too. And that's why a lot of agencies get bad names, because they take on offers that aren't ready for paid traffic. They're just not. The economics don't work. You're not going to be able to float. You're not a VC backed company where you're going to float capital for 12 months to make the money back on the customer. No, like these guys want to make money in their first 30 days. And based upon your funnel and what you charge, you're not going to be able to do that. So yeah, that's why we focus really on high ticket. It's just so much easier to make a profit on a $5,000 price point than, hey, we're selling $997 and we're competing with 10,000 other people. So our CPA is going to be super, super high.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And you mentioned it was Facebook, YouTube, TikTok,
Google search, Google display, Instagram, obviously part of Facebook, but just to throw that in there.
Do you have any preferences between the platforms?
We really made our bones in YouTube. So we rolled out Facebook, and like that was kind of my bread and butter. And then I kind of looked at the marketplace. I'm like, there are so many Facebook agencies, and it's like, hey, you're running Facebook, I'm doing okay. You'd much rather try YouTube, like a new opportunity, than, hey, maybe you guys could run Facebook 15 to 20% better than this other agency. So I really went and I assessed the marketplace. I'm like, where's the gap in the market? So we went and we cracked YouTube for a couple big names, Russ Ruffino. We scaled one offer. Sophie Howard to about $2 million a month in ad spend. They were doing like $10 million a month in sales off that. So we really made our bones in YouTube, and that's kind of our bread and butter. I would say Facebook is second, and TikTok's third. The one issue with TikTok right now is the compliance. It's very difficult.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you deal with so many account bans, ads getting turned off. It's tough. It's tough. And they have a little bit of a turnover problem right now with their account managers, where, I mean, we've had 3 different account managers in the past, like 2 quarters. Trying to build a relationship and getting accounts turned back on and everything with TikTok it's been tough. So.
Okay. So it's not actually a preference of, it sounds like it's not a preference of, what is better, what platform is better, as much as it is whether or not you have figured out how to game the platform.
Yep. Yeah, and YouTube's better in my opinion because, first off, the compliance is way easier. I mean, we've never had a Google Ads account shut down. Like, we've had Facebook Ads accounts shut down, TikTok Ads accounts shut down. Never had any problems with YouTube. You get ads disapproved every now and then, but you can say a lot more on Google and get away with a lot more, and ads last a lot longer. We have one ad that we've ran for like 24 months, spent a little bit over $8 million on. It just keeps running. It just keeps running and running and running. On Facebook, I mean, we have ads that last up to 6 months. TikTok's like the most is like 30 days. So from an operational perspective, it's like, hey, if you get that one really good ad on YouTube, I mean, you could scale it to the moon, man. And you're not gonna, okay, cool, this ad gets disapproved, and then you got to go through the whole approval process, like with TikTok or Facebook, or it's just easier to scale, and it's a better platform. Tougher platform because there's a lot of gotchas. Essentially, there's so many different things that you have to uncheck and make sure that you're not running on. That if you don't know what you're doing in the platform, it's tough. And you also have to script everything right. But once you learn that, it's best scaling platform, in my opinion.
You feel like you have to script everything?
Yes, in order to make it work, especially for the high ticket.
Because, I mean, we're living in an era of where there is at least a narrative of people feeling like, or talking about how authentic sells, right? And authenticity and shooting from your iPhone and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But the other side of that, of course, is if you're doing that, then you necessarily don't have it as dialed in terms of the exact language that you should be using or is going to convert.
Yeah. So like, when you're running an agency, you want to be able to, you have so many variables between clients. Some people are great on camera. Some people could literally whip out their phone and put together a great ad, and they mean they need nothing. Other people, like, you need to give them literally step by step on exactly what to say. You need to give them the cliff notes of the background and everything in order to make it to convert. So,
Got it.
that's kind of the thing. And we've dealt with it a lot where we'll get, it was funny. We had two clients, literally both helped product managers. Webinar, same price, same thing, same mentor, same guy, pretty much the same model. One was terrible on camera, one was good on camera. And, like, we followed the same frameworks, everything. The one that was terrible on camera, we could never dial it in. The other person that was good on camera does great, kills it. And, very interesting. And obviously there's other factors. One's a guy, one's a girl. You have the sales team on the back end and everything, but it was definitely interesting to see that, like, one, she just wasn't very good at camera, and just struggled to really get those CTRs up. Just very low energy.
Got it. So okay, so it's this also. The lens through which you're thinking of this is, again, not the platform, but you as an agency and how you leverage the platform.
Yep.
So the platform, yeah, you might be able to run an ad that is scripted or not, but you and your experience of the platform is like, well, of course it's got to be scripted, because how am I going to take, the client that we plug into the agency
and make them successful? You got to be able, because at the end of the day, we're going to get fired if we don't get them results. It doesn't matter, like, hey, you're not good on camera or whatever. And we launched the creative side because so many people just weren't getting us creatives, or they weren't able to do it. And I was like, hey, if we want to get to the next level, we got to do pretty much everything for them, other than actually going out there and filming them. Like, hey, we got to give them the scripts. We got to tell them exactly what to say. We got to give them the little cliff notes, like, hey, here's what we want the background to be. And then, doing all the videography to make it like, they can't fail. Before it was like, hey, here's some videos that have worked. Can you model this and do it? And then, we would get it all over, like, people just wouldn't do it right. They weren't good on video. They didn't know how to write the script. So I was like, hey, we have to add this to the agency, or we're just never going to be able to get to the next level, especially with some of the busy people. You have somebody that's super busy.
Right.
They might just not shoot any creative at all. And then you're going to fail. You signed up for YouTube ads and you didn't give us any creative. Well, yeah, I'm going to cancel you guys. I just don't have time to, film. The next step that we're taking is we just built a studio in our Georgia office. We're bringing in actors to literally film. Like, hey, because we run into that problem a lot too, is it takes a while for some of these guys to get back our creatives. We'll send them script after script after script. Oh, I'll get to it. And their CTRs are going down. And they're like, hey, why is my cost per book call so high? Why is my cost per lead? Well, hey, when we launched you, when you did these initial creatives 6 months ago, you were at 1%. We've sent you all these scripts. Now it's at 0.5%. The traffic's costing twice as much. So, and you run into that, like, oh yeah, I gotta get in front of a camera and film it and everything. But yeah, that's kind of the next step that we're taking. Like, hey, cool. You don't want to film our scripts? We'll do it for you. We'll do it for you.
It just you dropped like 700 acronyms in the last 17 minutes. So just for clarity, you kept saying CTR, so click-through rate.
Correct.
On the ad, which is we're running this ad and people are expressing interest by clicking through to go buy the product or book a call or whatever. And so that's the primary metric that you're looking at to measure whether or not the ad is working.
Correct.
Is how many people are actually clicking through.
Yep.
Got it. Awesome. So let me back out to the beginning of the agency. Why did you start the agency in the first place?
I'll be honest, I never meant to start an agency. I posted some results on my Facebook and I had a few people reach out and they're like, dude, like your cost per lead's great, blah, blah. Like, can you do it for me? And I'd always done consulting. I'd always done affiliate marketing. So a few people reached out to me and I was like, yeah, you know what, whatever, I'll test it out. And I started crushing it for the first guy. I started posting his results. Then more people reached out. Started crushing for that guy. And next thing you know, I'm 3 months in. I had, 6 or 7 clients. I got $30,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue. And I'm starting to bring in some good money. I hired a media buyer to help me with, doing the media buying and everything. And it kind of just blossomed from there. I ended up, what really took me to the next level and allowed me to kind of build everything, because there's so much money you have to invest into the operations of an agency to make it good, that if you don't have that capital, you just need so many people, and you need the project managers, you need the director of operations, you need the creative and all that. It's so capital intensive. It's very tough. But I landed a client that we scaled to about $2 million a month in ad spend, charging them 10% of ad spend. So, we started making, $150,000, $200,000 a month from this one client. Mm-hmm. And that was a 3-person team. And just to go back to my original story, when I was 21, made a bunch of money, blew it all. Now I'm 28, I'm making really good money again, and I start building my team. Mm-hmm. And I start investing in the company, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to really take this thing to the next level. I have all this capital coming in. Let me make this a legitimate company. Let me make Client Accelerators, the real deal, and really go to the next level with it. So, we landed that client, and then, things just took off, man. We started landing a lot of, it was a snowball effect. We would land a big client, we'd post their results, and we get another client, then we'd post their results, and, it just kept compounding. And then, people talk in this industry. If you're really good, people are going to know, and they're going to, we're running with Client Accelerators. They're crushing it for us, man. They're awesome. So.
Yeah, well, I think that goes back to, the proof's in the pudding, right? And so if you're actually producing for people, you are providing a product where it's the difference between that company growing or not. And so you're tying yourself to a significant thing for the company.
Yep.
Yeah. So for us, I was talking to, I think, Perry Belcher earlier today, and he made a reference to us being, to Easy Pay Direct in some capacity being an invisible asset. And it makes sense, because it's like, if we're doing our job the best way possible, everything is running smoothly, right? But we're not responsible for growing the company. We're responsible for making sure that everything is optimized and running smooth. And there are elements where, like, we could decrease your decline rate, which gives you lift, gives you more revenue. But for the most part, we're invisible. For you, you're very, very, very visible, where it's like, when you work with us, it's going to ramp if we're doing a good job. Did you have a deliberate shift where in client acquisition, where it wasn't just one client at a time and I'm pushing results? Do you have a funnel for client acquisition at this point?
Yeah, so we run a call funnel. It does okay. I'll be fully transparent. We haven't fully cracked, client acquisition on like a paid traffic basis, where, hey, we're spending $1 and we're getting $5 out. The issue that we run into a lot of the times is client will come in, they don't have a funnel that works. So, hey, we got to build them a whole funnel, and or they don't have, next thing you know, they don't have the economics or whatever. And I don't like working 0 to 1. It's like, hey, yeah, we got this working on organic. We're making $50,000 a month because I have a YouTube channel and, Instagram, and, I make a couple posts and I sell my $10,000 thing, versus, hey, now I have to take a person off the street, click on the ad, watch a presentation, book a call, and close them. So you need the funnel, you need the emails, you need the operations for all the salespeople. Like, it's a completely different game. Mm-hmm. And we get so many of those people that we haven't been able to crack the paid traffic. So most of it does still come, like, I have an email list of like 50,000 people. I have a good organic following. I get a lot of referrals, stuff like that. And, we're close, but not quite there yet, where it's like, hey, every single month we could bring in 10 clients on demand from paid traffic. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there are a ton of people like that, where it's I refer to that as the predictable selling system.
Yep.
Right? Is that one of the assets of the company? And of course, if you can build the predictable selling system, then the value of the company, certainly on exit to sell to somebody, is way, way, way higher.
Yep.
Right? Then you're not the one that's in the middle of it pulling in clients. But it's also a difficult one to build.
Yep.
What do you feel like you do differently as an agency than other people?
I would say the focus on tracking. Like we're the, Hyros, obviously, Alex Becker. I mean, we have 150 clients on there, whether that's through, referring them over their current clients, consulting or whatever. I mean, we know that like the back of our hand. And I've worked very close with Alex on some of the features. I was one of the original beta users and all of that. So like understanding the tracking and getting everything completely dialed in. We get so many clients that come in, they're like, yeah, I tried Hyros, it didn't work. And it's because they have so many different, they have a different CRM, they have a different payment processor.
CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. It's a technology for managing all your company's relationships and interactions with customers and potential customers.
And it might have been, hey, we needed to fix just a couple little tweaks. We dial in attribution, and now you're actually able to see everything throughout the funnel. So I would say like the tracking and the analytics, we have a whole stats department. We're able to look at the analytics differently. And then the creative. I mean, we have a really, really good creative department. All the copywriters are in-house, videographers, and we've really built the operations in there so we can pump out a ton of creative for every single client. Because at the end of the day, I mean, media buying's becoming more and more of a commodity. Yes, there's great media buyers, but if you don't have great creative, it doesn't matter. I'd much rather have great creative paired with an average media buyer versus a great media buyer and crap creative, because your CTRs are going to be too low.
So to, lay that out a little bit more plainly, I think that in the marketing space, we talk about media buyers or creative, and to any given business owner, that means, I think, the person that has the capacity to understand how to run ads on the platforms, that's the media buyer, right? Hey, do I know how to? The media buyer is an expert in manipulating and reading the data in the Google platform, the Facebook platform, the TikTok ad platform, whatever. Is this the media buyer?
Yeah, correct.
And
yeah, they're doing the research, they're setting up the campaigns, they're setting up the tracking, all of that.
And then the creative is whoever's actually designing the ads.
Correct.
And doing the language in the ads, sometimes the image, sometimes the video.
Yeah, the
whatever.
Copywriting, they're working with the videographer to, and doing all of the customer research and all of that, and putting it together in an ad that's going to get their attention, get them to actually click.
Got it. What are the elements of a great ad for you? Are there through lines? What do you aim for?
So for YouTube, out of the gate, we look to like an attention stopper. Like one of the best ads that we've ran is it opens up with like breaking news. We get their attention. We introduce who they are. We have testimonials. We have a call to action. Call to action usually shows the actual landing page. Hey, you're going to click on this button. You're going to land on this page. You're going to click this button. You're going to enter your name, your email, and then you're going to watch this presentation. Then it goes back. We do some more proof testimonials. We do another call to action, and then we usually do a timer at the end. So that's mainly the formula that we follow, and then we do different hooks on the front end. So we might do a proof hook. Like, hey, like one of our clients teaches affiliate marketing. They literally had, I think it was like 66 checks with over like $3 million on a pool table. And we open up the ad and it's just them panning over all the checks with their name on it. They're like, hey, listen, I'm a super affiliate. I absolutely crush it. And here's like all of the physical checks. And like, so that was like one of the hooks that we did. Another one we do is like a testimonial based hook, where it's like we have this one ad that we did where it's like, hey, meet Joey. Joey was, he used to be a trainer at a gym, hated his life, blah, blah. And this is Joey literally walking out of his job and starting his new company because he started his Amazon FBA business and was able to do X, Y, and Z. So just kind of following that formula and then adding new hooks to it has really done well for us.
Awesome. I like that. The formulaic approach, I think, is so valuable obviously for you as an agency. There's a good reason for it. But I think for most business owners, being able to plug into a formula, a lot of people are, myself included, not great with a blank page, but great modifying a structure.
Yep.
Totally. All All right, so let me shift a little bit. So obviously you spend time with marketing, with the platforms. How has your role as the founder CEO changed? So you've got 40 plus people now. Originally it was you and just you, but originally it was you and two others. So you had 3 people and now you've got 40. What's your day-to-day like now and how's that different?
Yeah, so my day-to-day now is more just meetings, with the actual teams, and my direct reports. So I start off every single day with an EA brief. I meet with my executive assistant. Then I have my marketing stand up. So I meet with my marketing team. I have my sales stand up. And then a lot of the other stuff is just strategic work. We run on the scaling up framework. I'm not sure if you ever read the book, but
Sure.
we set, you have the company rocks for the annual rocks for the company. And every quarter you're breaking it down. And then each team has their own rocks. So usually I own anywhere from like 1 or 2 big rocks that I am working on for the quarter. So that's a lot of it. And then the sales component, doing, the bigger deals and, the one-on-ones and all that. And how it's changed is I used to do everything. I mean, I was doing the media buying, doing the Slack communication, doing the meetings, doing the sales, doing the creative, like everything. And when you start, I mean, and especially when you're growing an agency, man, you have to be an absolute workhorse because there's so much for every single client between the creatives, the tracking, and the communication. Like it's just a ton of work. I mean, working 7 days a week, 80, 90 hours a week, and then you're hiring and you're doing all that. So it's more at this stage managing, making sure that we're going towards the right strategic goals, the one-on-ones, and then just the sales. Jumping on with the right prospects that I can actually close and, going from there.
So you're still doing the sales?
Yeah. So we have right now a 3-person sales team, but you get a lot of people that they want Mike Bontempo on the phone. They want to jump on with me. Hey, because you have in our industry, a lot of these guys know how to run ads. So you jump on with a person who doesn't have the highest level product knowledge, because if you have salespeople that haven't ran ads, and even if they've ran ads at a lower level, it's very difficult to close. Like, let's just say a Russ Ruffino. Like Russ knows ads at a very, very high level. He knows business at a very high level. He's not going to talk to somebody who doesn't have a higher level product knowledge to him, because it's like, hey, our cost per book call is $500. How do we get it down? That guy's probably, unless you're really a subject level expert, it's tough. It's tough to close that type of person. So yeah, I'm still doing a good amount of the sales, and yeah, trying to remove myself and get the right person in that seat. But yeah.
But it's your core responsibilities as a CEO at the moment are high-end sales, managing the managers. Anything else fit in that category?
Yeah, it's more so I have a director of operations who runs all of the client fulfillment. So it's more so I'm running the sales team, the marketing team, and then, kind of doing we do a weekly tactical meeting where we meet with our leadership team. I'm running the quarterly meetings. I'm running the monthly meetings with the company, doing that CEO level work. Mostly that.
How do you envision that changing if you were to double in size right now? Where do you think that
we need a really strong director of sales, and probably a good marketing manager. So they could pretty much run those functions themselves. So.
And then what do you envision yourself doing if that happened?
Probably more high level, like partnership stuff. And then I think, so we've been building this operational software, and probably going a little bit deeper into that. And so there's so many little nuances to just sending out a contract and getting all the information from the salesperson over to the account managers and the launch team and everything. Like that was one of the biggest problems we had. Like we would literally, we close a client, then the salesperson wouldn't put in the right notes. Our launch team wasn't good. We literally put together a whole software that's one of the features. Sends out the contract, sets up the onboarding, sets off the kickoff. You have all the sales notes, sets up the whole project, assigns all the tasks, like, so like just more high level strategic work, like the software, and just probably partnerships, working with guys like you. Hey, how do we integrate with Easy Pay Direct? How do we go to these other companies, and just building the relationships there, all the while, the company can run day to day. So that's really where I see it, and, kind of recruiting those director level people.
Yeah, I feel like most founders all have different ideas about where they want to spend their time ultimately, and what it means to be CEO, and how to optimize that the best way possible. Specifically, bootstrap founders, right? I feel like if you're raising money, you get influenced by the people that give you money and kind of guide you and say, this is your role.
Yeah.
And you need to get these people in place or whatever. But I certainly lean in the direction personally of, I like the strategic partnerships, the big deals. But I grew up in sales, right?
Yep.
And like, that's kind of where I want to live.
Yep.
Do you think you would have done anything differently in growing the agency if you were to do it again?
Oh yeah. Tons of things differently. I'm trying to think like the number one thing I would do differently, because there's so many different things. I would probably say staying all in-house. Like, so what ended up happening was I had a little office that I rented. I ended up buying a bigger office down the street. I bought it in February of 2020. Had all these people in-house. Culture was great. COVID hits. And then, people just didn't want to come to the office. And my number two at the time, he was against it as well. And we got to a point where we had so many people on the team that, like, we started building out remote, and we had so many people on the team, and people on my team would keep going out. Oh, we got to hire more people. We got to hire more people. These people are saying they're overworked. Well, they weren't really overworked. They were working 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. And
the gifts of COVID.
Yeah, literally. So I would say that's like the number one thing. Like we were at a point in the company where, we had like 35 clients, and I was steering the ship. There was like 10 people in the company. We were running fine. Now we have like double the clients, but we have, over 40 people. Like, yeah, our service has gotten better. Things run a lot smoother, but we got to a point where we were so bloated because I didn't have the right leaders in place. So I made mistakes with hiring inexperienced directors, and then just not listening to my gut. Like, hey, we should have these people in house. Like, and it was a mistake with. I had my number two at the time. He didn't believe in office. He's like, remote is the way. Remote is the way. And I was always fighting him on that. But it's tough to run the sales and marketing and then run the team in-house for the fulfillment, and you don't have your number two who really wants people in-house. He wanted to be remote. And then the next problem was you had so many people who were like, oh, I'm overworked. And then when I installed a new leader, we actually installed time tracking, and we had a bunch of people like in the creative department and in a bunch of different departments. I don't have enough work for 40 hours. Well, a couple months ago, you were saying you're overworked. And now guys were, they're doing 15, 20 hours, and we were paying them for 40.
Right.
So it was really, I made some hiring mistakes. And then I would say the remote thing. Especially with an agency, like an agency is it's knowledge. Like you're running ads. You have to have a high level of knowledge and understanding every single client. And it's tough to get that when you're remote. Like if you don't have, you have the senior media buyer in here. You have the copywriter right here. You have some of the junior media buyers. Like you can literally take somebody off the street, you put them in my office, I could make them a pretty damn good media buyer in 3 months. You take somebody who has 2 years worth of media buying experience, they're not in the office, they don't have, it's tougher to manage them and everything. They're not going to progress as quickly. And, when you're running an agency, operations are everything. It's literally everything. It's a people business. So, the whole remote thing, and we're reversing that now. We're building, we opened up an office in Georgia. It's where my director of operations is. We have a office in New Jersey, and we're building back in office. So yeah, that would probably be the biggest thing. It would, even with all that, we still grew, but there was so many times where, it's Saturday or Sunday and I'm hating my life because I'm just dealing with all these issues that these people are causing because they're just not doing their job. They want to, hey, yeah, I want to make 6 figures, but I only want to work 4 hours a week.
Right.
And they have an attitude to boot on it. So. And
do you think that that's is that a product of COVID, or is there something else that you could have done to change that?
I didn't have the right people in place. I hired the wrong people.
And as a result,
it was a perfect storm. I hired the wrong person to run the client fulfillment team. He was good to a point. But
so both wrong manager and wrong frontline, or just wrong manager?
Wrong manager, because he was not holding them accountable.
Got it.
He was, he was a people pleaser, and yeah, it's just, we would have media buyers. Oh, I'm overworked. Well, when I was running the team, you could easily run 10 accounts. Now you're running the team, you have 4 accounts, you're saying you're overworked. What is it? No, you're not overworked. You don't want to bust your ass.
Yeah.
You don't. You want to complain. And what had happened was the teams under him would constantly complain. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, we got to go hire more people." And he wasn't great at hiring either. He just didn't really hire. I had to do a lot of the hiring. So, unfortunately, I just made a big mistake, hiring certain people in my company. And, if I had to do it all over again, I would, the experience. You got to get people that have been there, done that before already, and that have the right attitude. I've hired other people from other companies too, and they were remote. My former director of mine came from a very well-known company that you would know. He delivered nothing. Part of the reason is remote. If he was in my office, he would have delivered.
So what are the things? So I am also a big proponent of having people in the office, partly because of culture, partly because there's some level of accountability that I think is just inherent in being physically present.
Yeah.
But if you had to distill what you look for in those hires, let's assume that you are going back and being in office. What's the general approach to hiring for you, and what do you think you've learned? What did you do previously, and what are you doing now?
So we follow the Who method. I don't know if you ever read the book,
Yep.
but we run through that. I really think that the big difference is the remote versus in office. When I get somebody, I guarantee you, if I would have had, there's 3 specific people that we recently had to let go that were all remote, that were like leaders in my company. If they were in my office every single day, I get at least double out of them. Double. Because I'm interacting with you every single day, and I'm holding you accountable. Hey, listen, man, we were supposed to deliver this funnel Monday. What's going on? You're not going to be able to sit there and bullshit me and be like, oh, well, no, you're going to get, hey, listen, man, I need this done today.
Right.
Like, it needs to be done today. Like, let's go. And that could go back to, a culture fit and an attitude thing. And yeah, but it's so hard to screen for that. Like we hired this one guy who literally, he did it for his previous company. He scaled them out, their marketing department. And he just, I think him being remote, he didn't have the same level of fire up under his ass, because his previous company, he was in-house. And he had the skill set. He knew exactly what to do. He just didn't do it. Just didn't want to do it. And, I go back to the remote thing where it's just, the expectations were there. We had literally hey, here's the number one objective you need to complete. It's due exactly by this. Doing all the one-on-ones, So yeah, I really think it's the whole remote thing, and I think people are going to reverse very soon, because you had a period of time where it was an employee, it was a good job market for employees, where all these companies were getting tons of credit, tons of capital from these VCs. So they're cool. You're a junior media buyer. Here's $100,000.
Right.
Well, of course that person's going to go and jump ship and, oh, you're not going to give me a 4-hour work week. You're not going to consent to my demands. Cool. I'll just go work. I'll go work for them. Now it's different. It's like, okay, cool. There's layoffs happening. Hey, if you don't come into the office, you're going to get let go. And before it's like, okay, I don't care if I'm going to get let go. I have 10 other job offers ready to go. Now it's like, hey, I get let go. Damn, I'm out of a job and I don't have any leverage. So, I think it's going to change. And you kind of look at Google, you look at these big companies, man. They want people back in the office, man. Yeah. They want people back in the office. It's much easier to manage. And the camaraderie you get. I can literally walk across my office and give somebody a nugget of information that could completely change everything for a client. It might only take me 10 seconds of my time. Right. And just because I'm in the vicinity of that. Right. And it would happen. Like we had this one client who was struggling. She worked with CEOs who weren't very good at delegating. And I was like, hey, listen, why don't you put together an angle with Elon Musk and talk about how he's able to run 3 companies simultaneously as the CEO and use him as the hook. He's like, oh, wow, that's genius. Took me literally like 20 seconds. That was the best ad that they had ever ran before. And this guy was a junior media buyer. He was 3 months in. And I was able to impart that wisdom just because we were in the same vicinity. Versus, hey, some guy's, in whatever, he's in Missouri. He's not going to be actually in the same office as me.
Yeah, totally get it. I'm a huge proponent. I definitely, and I think you're already starting to see the large tech companies move back towards, you have to come back to the office.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I know we're coming up on time, man. Where can people find out more about you or about the company?
Yeah, you go to clientaccelerators.com. Check us out. You can book a call. And if you have a funnel that's currently converting, you're spending like $10,000 to $15,000 a month on ads already, book a call with us, and we should be able to help you out.
Love it. Appreciate you spending some time, man.
Glad for being here. Glad for you having me on.
Yeah, good to see you, dude.
Likewise.